It is an absolute pleasure to have you guys once again at a live Q&A here at School of Sharks. My name is Dan Diaz. I am your host, and I am absolutely excited to have everyone here on board, as is custom now for quite some time. We have special guests on board. We've got some live training, some education. We want you guys to be engaged. For those of you who are familiar or who are not familiar with School of Sharks live Q&A. This is a special forum where we bring on educators and other experienced real estate investors and other guests that are active in the real estate investing forum. And today is definitely no exception. This is 100% for your benefit. A couple of things. One, we want you guys to be engaged and comment. However, we're using a service called StreamYard. So you're going to have to let StreamYard have permission to share your information. Like, for example, we got a couple of comments, but it says Facebook user, hey, and pending on chat. Of course, I don't know who you guys are because you need to let StreamYard have permission to kind of share your information. So don't forget to do that. If you guys find value in what you see here, please like, share, comment, engage. This is absolutely free, and really this is for you guys. What is School of Sharks? School of Sharks is a community. It's a platform where we believe that not one person has the monopoly on solutions or problem solving. Rather, we believe that as a collective genius, we can help each other grow and augment whatever real estate investing strategies we have. We have everything here from BRRRR to owner finance, fix and flip, wholesale, contract assignments, multifamily, mobile home parks, RV parks, and many other professionals. So we absolutely want you guys to engage and really be part of the community. So let's go ahead and start the show. We've got a very special guest with us. He has been referred to as the king of lease options, not just in Texas, but across the country by educators, speakers, and investors throughout the nation. He's transformed many of his techniques, methods, and structure utilized today within Lease Option. This gentleman started his real estate company, Leasing to Buy, in 2003, and since then has completed well over 800 real estate lease option transactions himself, not including the countless hundreds that his students have completed as well. Guys, it's an absolute pleasure to invite a good friend and a professional in the field, especially in lease options, Mr. John Jackson. Welcome aboard,
Hello,
John.
Mr. Dan. Man, I got to say, man, hats off to you and your entire crew for putting School of Sharks together. This is absolutely top notch. Not just what you put together, but the presentation, the format, the structure, everything is absolutely top notch. It's not something just thrown together. So, man, hats off to you, man.
Thank you so much. And really, the reason we do it is to provide a platform for us to be able to bring to the community, valued, people who are active. There are so many people out there who are just making noise. I'm not going to mention any names, but it's just noise and flickers and photo shoots and rented Lambos. And here you are, you and I, going through dirty homes, and bad situations. And it's like, hey, can we just get another deal done? To quote some of the friends here, we just want to do our first deal, right?
Yeah,
that's how we want to do. So before we jump into it, if you don't mind introducing yourself briefly in regards to who you are, what you do, and the value that you bring to the community. Go ahead and brag, John.
And like I said, I promised before the show I'm going to keep this to a tight 3 hours. Hey, Ryan Harper's here. What's up, Ryan? So for those of you not familiar with who I am, John Jackson. My main thing I do in real estate is lease options. I've been doing them for 18 years, coming up on 19 years. And I am here in Texas. So everybody watching in Texas, I am the Texas lease option guy as well. But then about 4 years after I started my company, started training people one-on-one, and the training education side has exploded. We've got students, literally, just brought in a student in Colombia, the country, Colombia. I've got students have students in Canada, New Zealand, so my focus is lease options. I teach different types of lease options, specifically lease option assignments, which we can get into as well. And that is my shtick. But I'm known for pretty houses. I work with houses that don't need repair, they're beautiful move-in ready houses, typically $250,000 $300,000, $400,000 houses. That's what I work on. That's what I work with. And that's what I really like to focus on with my students that I work on is I don't teach ugly, nasty, filthy houses. That's great. There's money to be made there. I call it P money versus pool money. I like pool money, baby. All right. If you want to walk into a house full of cat piss and hoarder house, that's you. That's on you. All right. I like pretty houses. That's just the way I roll.
I like it. I like it. Bhaskar got a question, which actually kind of popped into my mind as well when you mentioned, Canada and a few other countries. Are your international students investing in the U.S. remotely? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. So they're in other countries and they're doing deals here in the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Now, out of curiosity, are these people from those countries, or are they Americans who happen to be living in those countries and kind of understand things?
Some are expats. The ones in Canada are the ones I've had Canadians that live in Canada.
They're just Canadians.
People. Yeah, just Canadians. Who cares about Canadians? But the gentleman who was brought on in Colombia, he's from the U.S. actually. Yep.
Very, very nice. So guys, if you guys have a couple things, if you guys have any questions, this is a live Q&A, obviously we want to share a few things with you guys, but if you guys have any questions about School of Sharks, about John, about lease options, about just about anything you hear, please post it in the comments section and we'll get to them as much as we can. And second thing, if you guys can maybe help me out by posting in the comments section where you're from, and also what is your specialty of real estate or what you like most. Now, if you haven't done a deal yet, no harm, no foul. We want to welcome you. So put that in the comments. Say, this is Dan. I'm trying to give him a first deal. Trust me, I was there. John was there. We were all there. So we definitely want to hear from you guys. Now, John, I'd love to hear from you from a business perspective. What would you say is your biggest strength when it comes to business or an investor? What would you say is your personal biggest strength?
I think my biggest strength is going to be creativity and the excitement of the unknown. Right. I mean, when anybody starts in a new endeavor, real estate or anything, there's all that unknown, and unknown tends to scare people. Right. Whether it's jumping out of an airplane for the first time or going on a roller coaster, it's that unknown. And you've got to embrace the unknown. Get excited about the unknown. Right. Don't be afraid of it. And so with me, it's creativity and the love of the unknown. To me, that's where the excitement comes from is, boy, this is going to be exciting. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's do this thing, And so that's kind of my biggest, some of my biggest strengths for sure.
So you like to jump in the deep end of the pool without even knowing how deep the pool is.
Yeah, and exactly. And you talked about people in here trying to get that first deal. I got some advice for anybody here trying to get the first deal. Stop trying to go at it like you're trying to get your first deal. And let me explain what I mean by that. I've trained hundreds of people, people that are just starting off. And what I have found is that psychologically, it's easier for me to work with someone that is committed to make $250,000 in the next 12 months. Psychologically, it's easier for me to work with them and get them to $250,000 in a year than it is to help someone that's feeble and scared, just trying to approach it from, I just need that one deal. I'm just trying to get that first deal. Totally different mindset. So if you go at it with that, you're going to, I've got to get, looking to bang out, 10 deals here. Now you're thinking bigger. So psychologically, you're thinking bigger. You're thinking about, if I can just get that one deal. What happens is, for most people, is they inadvertently just put forth enough effort that they may get that first deal. Well, that means you're operating like a business. If you're going to operate like a business, act as if and think as if, we got to do 5 deals this month. Now, how are we going to do that? Now you're thinking bigger.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Because it's funny when you're starting out, you have no idea, and you really don't. You have no idea the amount of effort, time, ingenuity, resources that you got to pull together on your first deal. So if all you're thinking is just getting your first deal, oh man, you're never going to get off the ground. You're never going to get off the ground. The analogy that I heard one time, and you might agree with this, is a gentleman, he said, an airplane pilot never fills up the plane with only enough gas to take off.
Right.
That would be foolish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the same thing. If you go at it with, I just got to get the first deal, what happens is you're not putting enough gunpowder in the cannon to get the cannonball out of the cannon. Whereas if you go to with, hey, this is my business, this is my company, and boom, baby, we're going to bang out, 5 deals in the next 60 days. Okay. Now you're thinking bigger. And now you're going at it totally different. Speaking of doing things with, that scare you. I mean, look at my eyes. I just had my eyes, slashed open a week ago. I just had stitches taken out today, right before this interview.
I know.
And that's the way I roll, baby. Throw something at me that'll scare you. I'll do it. Let's go.
So what happened, if you don't mind sharing? Why did you end up getting surgery?
My wife was scratching at me, and we get a little cray. No, there's actually a term for it. It's blepharospasm or something, where my eyelids were starting to hang lower and lower. So they just come in, they slice them, and they say, like I said, in about 2 weeks, I'm going to be beautiful again.
Hey, you're beautiful right now. If you don't believe it, just ask TJ. I mean, he'll call you beautiful any day. We got a great question here. How and when did you decide lease options would be your primary strategy? I think he wants you to go back to your beginnings. Where did you say lease option is where I am making my claim to fame?
So back in 03, before 03, for 2 years, I traded stocks and options, right? And so as I wanted to get into real estate, a couple of things I found is that real estate and the stock market have a lot of similarities, meaning you really need to find your niche. What is your niche going to be? So someone that makes money in the stock market, they typically have a niche. It may be day trading, where they're intra-trading within the day. They may be swing trading. They may be trading a specific sector. So you got to have your niche, because the riches is in the niches, right? Well, and I also saw that all markets are cyclical. As I started studying real estate, I at first thought I was going to buy rental properties. And of course, I didn't know anything about finance or anything like that. So I thought, I've got to go to a bank, get a loan, and then go buy a house and fix it up and then rent it out. And I knew someone that had a couple of rentals, and he was making about $200 a month or $150 a month on these rentals. And I thought, well, that's a lot of risk for $150. So I kept looking. Every now and then I would run across a blurb about lease options. I thought, oh my God, options. I know about options because I trade options on the stock market. So I started diving into lease options and saw how they could be used, if used properly, to help people, help sellers that can't sell and help buyers that can't buy. And you didn't need any money, and there was no risk. So once I saw that, I was like, boom, I'm all in, baby. And from there, really dove into lease options. Now, this is 03, so there wasn't Craigslist at the time, or there was hardly anything about lease options at the time. Now with the, where we are now, there's, YouTube and, all sorts of places to at least do some research on something. Back then, there was literally nothing. So there was a website, get this. There was a website I went to learn lease options. It was, you're going to think I'm joking, it's called nakedinvestor.com.
Oh, wow. Is that still a website?
Yes. Now,
wow.
Now, I know a lot of people are wondering, oh my God, John, what exactly were you searching for when you found Naked Investor?
Well, if you know anything about John, we both know what you were looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's Naked-Investor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was about lease options. And it was a great place, a great community there. And that's where I really got my my feet wet, was learning the basics there, the very basics about lease options. And then as I started doing deals and doing more and more, people on the forum there saw that I created a whole business around lease options, and that's where it all kind of blew up.
Wow. So to recap, the notion of a lease option, which is an option to buy the home, really came from the fact that your background, you understood what options were.
Yep.
It's the right to do something, but not the obligation.
Exactly. Yeah.
To move it forward. Wow. So this is, I think, a really great nugget that the audience can take when you're wanting to carve out, what your niche is going to be. And guys, I don't know if y'all heard it or not, or if y'all missed it, but he really declared it. The riches are in the niches for sure. Maybe go back to your own background and be like, what things make sense to me? Do I know construction? Well, then maybe fix and flip. Do I understand the rental model? Well, then maybe I'll do BRRRRs, or maybe I'll do multifamily. Do I understand finances in the multi-million dollars, ranges? Well, then maybe bigger projects will work. Well, whatever. I mean, there's so many options for sure.
Where's your risk level?
Mhm.
So like I've been in real estate for almost 19 years. I've never, ever done a single rehab. I have no desire to do a rehab. I don't want to babysit contractors and this and that and a bunch of moving parts. No, forget that. That's just not me. Whereas other people would love that. Other people do love it. And so if that's you, then maybe that's your thing is rehabs. That's not my thing.
Yeah, for sure. You got to figure out what is your thing, but not just. So we talked a little bit about strengths. I want to open up vulnerability, if that's okay. Let's talk about what some of the most challenging weaknesses about John Jackson are. And as the audience is listening, what I want you guys to really focus on is the fact that your weaknesses can be turned into strengths. It doesn't mean defeat at all. But what would you say is some of your most challenging weaknesses?
Yeah, I think my biggest weakness that I've really tried to hone in on, try to work on, is shiny object syndrome. We all tend to get shiny object syndrome. As an entrepreneur, we think differently than people that typically work a 9-to-5 job, and they are happy with their 9-to-5 job. They want to work the 9-to-5 job till they freaking die. Entrepreneurs don't think that way. Our minds are always going, right? We used to go on road trips with my family, and my wife would always say that, by the time we got from here to, say, Destin, Florida, she knew that I'd come up with three or four different business ideas, right? So you're always coming up with all these ideas. And what happens then is you're only fishing this deep and this wide, and you're not going deep, right? So it's being able and being willing to say no, or say, hey, that's kind of neat, but I got to stay in my lane. I got to focus on this. And so I describe it like spinning plates. So when with leasing to buy blew up very quickly, in a good way. And so that plate was spinning, if you will. So imagine that plate spinning and humming along. Well, then I started training people, just doing some one-on-one. And so that didn't even affect the plate. Well, then the training went from one-on-one training to small group to then a big events. And now a whole other business was created. Well, now as this, if I'm trying to look at the camera here, as this plate is spinning, or as I'm trying to get this plate going for the education side, right? That's taking a lot of effort to get that plate going. But there's also the info product, right? The course, the courses at the time. Back then, I literally had DVDs, if you can remember those.
Wow.
So trying to get all these plates going, and guess what happens to the leasing to buy plate? It starts wobbling, right? Because I've got all these other plates I'm trying to get going that are exciting to me. And so knowing that if you're going to take on another venture, another project, this plate is going to be affected. The plate that you have spinning so well, it's going to be affected. And in my case, it started wobbling quite a bit. Now, fortunately, now I've got students across the country, and we do a lot of deals. And so I don't even do that much marketing now. My students do the marketing for me. And so it makes it really easy. But the point is that it's so easy as an entrepreneur to always be chasing different ideas. And here's the thing. The greatest idea as an entrepreneur, the greatest idea you're ever going to have is the idea that you just had. Boom! That's the greatest idea I ever had. That's genius. Yeah. Until the next one comes along. You're going to go, oh my God. No, this one was the freaking bomb. That was it. And so you got to understand that that where your lane is, right? And when it's okay to make a shift to a lane, right?
Yeah.
So not trying to spin a whole bunch of plates, right?
Yeah.
And I see that from my students where they come to me for training and I'm working with them, and maybe they ghost me, and I can't get a hold of them for 3 weeks. They've missed all these calls, this, that. I finally get a hold of them, like,
Mm.
where have you been? Oh man, yeah. I was just at this 3-day event on flipping mobile homes or rehabbing mobile homes. Like, what are you doing? You haven't even done what I told you to do yet. Yeah, but the next thing you know, they're about flipping lots, whatever. In other words, they're not focused. And what
Yeah.
happens is they are not committed. You've got to be committed. Don't piddle around. For anybody starting off in real estate, or maybe you're looking to make a shift in real estate, you absolutely have to be committed. Something that I'll post inside the Shark group on Sunday, I'll make myself a note, is a video of myself and Robert Allen, who wrote one of my favorite real estate books, 1 Minute Millionaire. And he talks about the commitment quote. Now, anybody on here, I want you to write that down. I want you to Google the commitment quote. It was written by a gentleman who was climbing Mount Everest. And it's a phenomenal quote. And I'll just read a little bit here. It says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. That's powerful.
Absolutely.
Whatever you're going to do, don't freaking piddle around. Get off bigger pockets. Okay, make a commitment right now to never go back to bigger pockets. It's a bunch of trolls talking crap. Okay, whatever your lane's going to be, whether it's multifamily, mobile homes, lease options, wholesaling, whatever, commit. And I mean commit, where it is like information overload for 2 or 3 weeks, and then take action on that. Because once you actually commit and you're out there and you're working it, it's amazing how providence moves. And you're going to make these connections that you're only going to make because you committed.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And when you recognize that one of your most challenging weaknesses was shiny object syndrome, I think that is probably in the blood of most entrepreneurs. That's why we went off the 9-to-5 path and we started looking for, financial freedom. But yes, commitment and focus are so massively important. And it's almost like you mentioned the word providence. If you believe in God, then it's God. If you believe in the universe, it's the universe. But there is a greater force that is looking out, and it's almost like a father. And we're like the little boys, and the dad's like, look, I'll give you whatever you want, but I just need to know if you really want this.
Yes.
Do you really want this? Show me that you want this.
Yep.
Oh, you do want it. Boom. I'll give it to you.
Absolutely.
But a lot of us are like, well, I kind of want this, and I kind of want that. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
So, of course, our father is just like, well, whenever you figure it out, I'll give you anything. But whenever you figure it out, I'll come back.
Figure it out.
We'll recircle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
So once the universe listens to you, once you put it out there to my wife and I always talk about putting it out to the universe, and for years I put out to the universe about how my hair is going to grow back. And I don't know if it's committed.
You might not be committed yet.
Yeah. I was committed to the eye thing though. Look.
Hey, there you go. Let's talk about accomplishments. What are some of the accomplishments that you're most proud of? And it can be business related, it can be family, it can be personal if you're okay opening up about something. But John Jackson, what is he most proud of when it comes to a commit to an accomplishment?
The thing that I guess I'm the most proud of that's had the biggest impact on my life is I stopped drinking alcohol over 2.5 years ago. And the reason I say it's a massive accomplishment is when you're caught up in the throes of alcohol, the way it takes over your brain, it literally makes it, common sense is gone. Common sense is gone. And it's like someone else is controlling you. But when you break that cycle and you break that addiction to alcohol or whatever, someone's addiction might be, my DLC was alcohol. Then boy, talk about Providence moving mountains for you. There's no way I could accomplish what I have in the last 2.5 years, even if I was still, drinking any alcohol. There's no way. And so for me, once I stopped and committed,
there's the word again,
and committed to no longer put that poison, that toxin in my body, Providence moved mountains. And literally within 6 months, it was dramatic how personal and business dramatically shifted.
Wow. So here you added, I don't know if you did it on purpose or not, but you added another key part to commitment. Lots of times when we hear the word commitment, we only think in terms of doing. And that certainly is true. But there is a key to commitment that a lot of people miss that you touched on right now, which is what are you willing to let go of? That may be either entrenched in you in the form of a habit or may be very valuable to you.
Yes. Yeah. And I want everybody to listen to this. You do not determine your future. You determine your habits, and your habits determine your future. I want you to think about that. You do not determine your future. You determine your habits, and your habits determine your future. So you have to look at what habits do you have that are not contributing positively to your life. They're not moving the needle, right? If your habit is, whether in my case it was alcohol, or whether it's not working out or unhealthy or binge watching Netflix, when that's not moving the needle. So you don't determine your future, you determine your habits, and your habits determine your future.
Yeah, your habits determine your future. You don't determine your future. You can only determine your habits. I love that, man. That's gold. Thank you so much for sharing. We were going to talk about lease options, but somehow we got into like how to massively improve your future. Like, how did that happen?
When I do a 3-day event, I do my big 3-day events. My favorite part of it is the guru mindset, where I spend about an hour going into the comfort zones and the 6 words that kill and the mindset, because at the end of the day, that's so powerful. And mindset is so far beyond just going, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. It's really what are you saying to yourself when you're not listening, right?
What are you saying to yourself when you're not listening?
Yeah,
that's super powerful. Guys, if you guys are getting value, not just from today, from having John Jackson with us, but having live Q&As on a regular basis, please help the mission. The mission for School of Sharks is to positively impact 100,000 lives in 1,000 days, and we can't do it on our own. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please engage, like, comment, and share this to your own personal walls. And do me a favor, feel free to tag myself, feel free to tag John, feel free to tag School of Sharks. We want you guys to, we want to know that not only you're listening, but you're really being a shark, and you're absolutely sharing what you guys are getting here. So we're super excited. I'd like to talk a little bit, going back to the business, which is primarily lease options. Is there a particular deal or situation or family that you were able to help and it was particularly memorable or impactful? I remember you kind of shared something when we did the interview, but can you share that?
In general, what I do with lease options is pretty damn boring because it's so easy. So whereas Connor Steinbrook or Nick Perry or maybe TJ Coaston, you know, they may have stories about walking into a house and there's a dead body or whatever, because of the house they're working with. Because my houses are nice, pretty move-in ready houses, there's nothing really exciting about there's nothing exciting about the process of the lease option. However, there's times when I've helped sellers that there's one in particular where they were separate. They were separated geographically. The husband had to relocate to Florida. The wife and kids were here. They had lived by themselves in a house with almost no furniture for almost 2 months without their dad because they couldn't sell their house.
Wow.
And I came along with the lease option, and within 3 weeks, boom, had the buyer, boom, 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 here we go. And they moved to Florida. And I remember the little daughter was just so incredibly happy. She was so happy that we had somebody because she knew that she was going to go, see her dad again. And there's been countless times, to be honest with you, Dan, where the buyers that we've helped get, with the lease option, we put them into our program, get them financed. Oh my gosh, over the years, Dan, so many where the buyers are literally crying at the title company because they, a year before they didn't think they would ever own a home, and here they are signing their papers and they're loving it. They're just so happy. They're so full of joy.
Now, for those who might not have a notion of exactly what lease options are in maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes, can you share what exactly is a lease option and then how it looks from a seller's perspective and how it looks maybe from a potential buyer's perspective?
Yeah, so there's 3 different types of lease options, and I'll dive specifically into one, but there's 3 types. There's a straight lease option where it's just a buyer and a seller agreeing to do a lease option. There's a sandwich lease option where the investor stays in the middle, and there's 3 paydays there, but that's a sandwich lease option. But what I really focus on is what's called the lease option assignment. And that is where we work with sellers that typically have their house in the market for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. The house hasn't moved. They haven't got a contract, and the seller's got to get on with their life, whether it's get to their new house, relocate, whatever. So you've got a seller that's having a problem selling. On the buying side, we have buyers that most of them that we work with now really don't have any credit issues, maybe a couple of dings, nothing big, but they just want time. We work with a lot of buyers that are self-employed. So self-employed people are demons, to lenders. Oh my God, you don't work a 9 to 5? Oh yeah, how am I going to loan to you? And so we work with people that have pretty good income on the buying side because of that, price range that we're working with. Pretty good income, but they may be self-employed. Or they could be executives that are relocating here and they don't want to spend 3 months driving all around the backseat of some, Sally Jane Rottencrotch, the realtor's car looking for a house. They just want to boom, get in, get the kids in school, boom, let's go. And that's what we do. So we put the lease option together with the seller and they get full price. Then we simply market our contract to the end buyer. We assign it to them. They've got a house, boom, the seller gets full price, no commission. The buyer moves in, they're making the payments to the seller, and then they work to get financed.
Very nice. So let me see if I'm kind of understanding things on the do you start with the inventory first? Do you start with the house first?
Yeah, I start with the house. I start with the house first because there are a couple of reasons behind that. One is I'm not a real estate agent. If I were to go find the buyer first, then I can end up looking like I'm being an agent or I'm brokering a deal, which I'm not. So any house I have under contract, I could literally move into that house if I wanted to. As a matter of fact, lease options are a great way for someone to buy their own house if you want a little bit of time. Even if you don't have to have credit issues, even if you just want a little bit of time to get things in place for financing. There was a place in Keller, Texas by Fort Worth that I was very close to buying on a lease option.
For yourself?
For myself.
Very nice.
Just before I got married. And I was literally this close to doing it. Like that week, we're going to sign the paperwork. It was 2 acres, had a creek on it, had a little building on it.
Very
I
nice.
was going to put like 40 grand or 50 grand into the building. And then, but I needed time to get the building on it where it was livable, and then get the land ready and do a new construction loan. So I'd work out an 18-month lease option, just to give myself some time. Yeah. And it was a heck of a deal. I mean, I was really going to pay him $1,000 a month, and they were okay. They were like, okay, whatever. Sure. But then literally the week I was going to sign the paperwork, I met this beautiful lady, and she couldn't help but fall in love with me. She said, "Oh my God, you're a God. You're the man I've been looking for all my life. Come move in with me." And so I didn't buy that property. But the point is, you can.
Did you put an option on her?
I did.
Nice.
No obligation, just the option.
Very, very nice. Yeah. Very, very nice, man.
I see Charles Hernandez. What's up, Charlie?
Yeah, Charles here. Yeah, we got Tanner Landry as well. Yeah. Good fans of the show for sure. Guys, if you guys have any questions right now is the time to post them. Also, if you're getting value out of what you're hearing here, please like and share this live podcast. So we're super, super excited. We do want to move along because we want value to be delivered to the audience. If you can speak directly to the audience, what words of wisdom do you think you can share if someone is starting off their investment career or maybe only has 1 or 2 deals under their belt?
You gotta speed. It takes speed and creativity. If I highly suggest that everybody watch season 2 of Undercover Billionaire with Grant Cardone, and it had the 2 ladies on there that were billionaires. The premise of that show is that they get $100 and a piece of crap vehicle, and they have 90 days to make $1 million, a business worth $1 million. And yes, there's some, it's TV, so it is what it is. But if you watch that show, watch it from the perspective of what are they doing? And what are the commonalities between those 3 billionaires? The 2 commonalities those 3 billionaires have is speed and creativity. When they saw an opportunity, boom, they pounced on it. They didn't ask any of the 6 words. The 6 words that kill, that stop people in their tracks are, yeah, but, what if only. Those are the 6 words. You never heard those words on Undercover Billionaire. You didn't hear Grant Cardone go, yeah, but I don't know. I got to talk to my wife. I better talk to my wife. So, but it's speed. You see an opportunity, you create an opportunity, and you boom, and you act on it. You see wealthy people, successful people decide quickly and adjust, whereas poor people that are suffering financially, they never decide.
Yeah. Or
they decide slowly, and then the opportunity's already gone. Decide quickly and adjust. So what happens is you decide quickly. So they literally acted so quickly, it's like bypassing the subconscious. The subconscious is what's stamping every single one of your ideas with a stamp saying denied, denied, denied. Yeah, but what if? Yeah, but you got to talk to your wife. What if this doesn't work? If only blah, blah, blah. Act so quickly that those words don't exist. Then, based on your results, you can adjust your action.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Speed and creativity will move mountains for you. And maybe just maybe you'll have a one-way communication with Providence and convince him that hey, you really, really, really are committed to getting this. So for sure.
And I could go on for an hour about this, but Basker says...
You have a limit of 3?
3 hours. That's right, 3 hours. Basker says, what advice would you have for your younger self?
Yes.
Your ego ain't your amigo.
Your ego ain't your amigo.
Now, I don't care what you see on Facebook with people posting pictures of this and that and their watch collection, whatever. I think it's interesting that you don't see cardiologists posting on Facebook about, boom, baby, I just nailed that hard thing. Bam, look at this. Look at my watch. Look at my watch. No,
You
Your
don't.
ego ain't your amigo. Get rid of the ego. All right. And you'll be surprised. You'll be amazed at how much, first of all, how much more clear you think, and how much more sense your decisions make. Get rid of your ego, man.
I like that. I like that
I mean,
for
you
sure.
can be proud of your accomplishments and be happy, but your ego it'll cause you to make stupid decisions and say stupid things. Get rid of it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, honing down to maybe the weekly or monthly routine or daily routine, what practical advice do you think you can share with those again who are starting out?
Yeah, man. Always be feeding your brain. Um, uh,
Be
so
feeding your brain.
I almost never listen to music. I work out almost every day, but I don't listen to music. I listen to audiobooks. I've got a whole library. We can see all these books behind me. Your library will tell you a lot about yourself, right? So feed the brain. Feed the brain. I'm always listening to audiobooks. When I'm in the car, I don't listen to talk radio or anything like that. Boom, I've got my audiobook in, whatever that is. And I'll go through, I'll probably go through 2 books a week. And matter of fact, 2 books I would highly recommend. The book that got me started in 2003 is right here. I highly suggest everybody go get this book, 1 Minute Millionaire by Bart Victor Hansen, Robert Allen. I'm very blessed that I can call Bob a friend of mine. He's autographed it for me, and that just goes to show about providence. Who would have thought that when I read this book almost 19 years ago that I would become friends of the author? I mean, providence moves mountains. So go get the 1 Minute Millionaire. The other book that we've all heard and a lot of us have read is, of course, Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
About a month and a half ago.
I like how you have the pocket edition. I do. I want to point that out because I have the pocket edition as well. Because if you get the big one, which is nice, it's beautiful. I mean, and I'm sure you have a copy of it, but you might not read it as often as you'd like. My pocket edition, and I'm sure your pocket edition, has gone many places.
Yep. Oh yeah. And you know what? It's I'm just looking at the pages. I literally just turned to something, number 5, lack of imagination. Without imagination, the leader is incapable of meeting emergencies and of creating plans by which to guide his followers efficiently.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I was in North Carolina at a mastermind, which is another piece of advice I can give you guys. Surround yourself with people that play at a much higher level than you play at. Surround yourself with people where it makes you uncomfortable to be in the room the first few times. Because what happens is if you're operating down here and you're hanging around people that operate up here, it inevitably pulls you up, right?
You're not going to pull them down. I promise you. You're going to go up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you start thinking at a different frequency. So this book, 2 months ago, I was at a mastermind, very small mastermind in North Carolina on the beach, big beach house. And Ross Hamilton stopped by because he lives up there. Ross Hamilton is the guy behind Connected Investor. Yeah. Well, he just sold Connected Investor to First American Title, the biggest data provider in the nation, for $100 million. And he was showing it some of his notebook from his original, ideas and thoughts about connected investors. And he pulled out this book and it was rubber band together because it was, falling apart. But anybody I know that succeeded in anything in life has listened to and read this book over and over. You can literally, just like I just did, I literally just popped it open. And you could just read like 2 paragraphs and go, okay. And that could be your daily, almost like your daily Bible. Go, oh, wow, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. And you just always feed your brain and have a vision board. What is it you want to accomplish in life? Ross had showed us a article from a newspaper from 6 years ago, I guess it was. It could be a little bit off of 6 or so years ago, of a car he wanted. It was just came out as the Audi RS7, and he wanted that car. And this whole article came out in this newspaper, so he cut it out. He put it in that binder for Connected Investors. Guess what he drives?
No way. He got his Audi.
Yep. RS7. Yep.
Very,
Absolutely.
very cool. So to recap, guys, feed your brain, speed and creativity, do your vision boards, and never pass up an opportunity to be in the same room with somebody who is performing at a higher level than you. Because I promise, you're not going to bring them down. You're only going to go up. You're only going to go to their level.
Absolutely. You know, there's the mastermind that I've been a part of for the longest time. When I was first in that room, I was looking around, and I was literally, for the first one or two times, I was like, what the hell am I doing here? I was like, what the hell am I doing with these people? Right. And now, of course, they're my friends and everything, but now, I operate at that level, but, or at least close to it. And, but always surround yourself as anytime you can with people that operate at a higher level. And the thing is that the people that operate at a very high level, the ones that I know anyway, they typically don't brag about it on Facebook.
No,
because it's really like I just said, like the cardiologist doesn't brag, or the dentist doesn't brag every time he goes, boom, baby, just another root canal. Holla, who's your daddy?
Oh man, that's
because it's what they do. Like, I never, ever, ever post a picture of a check on Facebook of a deal I did. I just don't. Now, I may post my students. I'm proud of them. I like my kids, but it's not about me. It's about, how proud I am of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So surround yourself with people that operate at a higher level, and your ego ain't your amigo.
Your ego ain't your amigo. And one of the things that I even wrote it right here, riches
is in the niches.
Is in the niches for sure. And I think that's super. I mean, thank you so much for the gems that you shared. But I really like that one, because I think that a lot of people who are really just starting out, they really have shiny object syndrome. They can look, and I don't blame them. I mean, with the internet and social media and so many avenues in which you can make your riches in real estate. I mean, you can come into this world and decide that you want to be the best pest control company, and you could make your riches off that. I mean, we've got Casey Smith that found a niche in transaction coordination, and she's made riches off that. So
look at Nicole Espinosa. I mean, in this, and I'll give you an example, guys, about the riches and the niches. The great one with Casey and, of course, Nicole. When it comes to, say, coaching or training or info product, like I've had to develop different parts of my course and this and that. When it comes to, say, creating a course, the best thing someone can do is niche it. They're instructed, niche it down as much as you possibly can. Because if you cast a net this big going, hey, I'm going to teach you real estate, that's way too vague, right? Where you really are going to shine is when you go, hey, you know what? I'm going to teach you lease options, or I'm going to teach you lease option assignments, or I'm going to teach you lease options in Texas, right? Or, I'm using that as an example, but niche it down. Whether it's, hey, I do mobile home parks, but only outside of Tarrant County, as an example, right? Yeah. Whatever that is, but you become the master of that niche so that you're known for it.
Yeah, for sure. That's super, super important. And it's going to cut down on your marketing costs too, because people are going to get to know you. I can tell you right now that anybody asks any questions on lease options, and you're the only guy that gets tagged. I mean, that's just kind of the way it happens for sure. So, that's massive. Listen, John, I know that you originally spoke of volunteering 3 hours, but we both know that you're a super busy guy.
Dude, I can wheel my eraser board over here, and I can do a whole class.
You really can, but I really, really want to thank you for, sharing your time You didn't have to, but you've really been super generous with School of Sharks. You share your expertise, you share your comments. Guys, if you want to interact with John, his contact information is down below. That's his personal contact information. Feel free to reach out. He's also made a commitment to educate the members of School of Sharks. So as always, I want to share with you guys a little bit of what John is going to be doing in the next couple of days in the form of posts. To really interact. The group Friday is going to be homework. He's going to be sharing one thing that you can do to get your mind right, especially with your family, with your happiness, with things that truly matter to you. And it's going to be in the form of a challenge. So if you accept that challenge, just go ahead and comment yes, and you'll be part of the challenge. Saturday's post is going to be a story relating to a challenge or lesson that he's learned throughout his career. And pay attention, because it may be a situation that you are going through or may be going through in the future. Sunday's post might surprise some of you guys. It's going to be about how to start the week correctly, because businessmen and women, we don't start our weeks on Monday. We start them on Sunday. So that's super important. Monday, he'll be sharing 1 or 2 negotiation tools and scripts that have worked for him. And Tuesday, he'll be sharing tips on how to boost your own business. So guys, this entire week is all about John Jackson, and please take advantage of him. I promise you, if you want to book one-on-one time with him, it ain't going to be free at all. So take advantage of this. And as always, if you guys find value, please like and share the content on School of Sharks. We cannot impact 100,000 lives in 1,000 days without your help and support. John, thank you so much.
Thank you for
sharing your time. And I'll leave the platform with you to share one last bit of wisdom, if you'd like to, with the group.
If I highly suggest this, get a mentor. The faster you get a mentor, the faster you're going to succeed. Now, not all mentors are the same. They're not all created the same. Get one that resonates with you. Get one that has helped somebody else, but get a mentor, okay? Do not try to learn real estate on your own. No matter what niche it is in real estate, don't try to learn it all on YouTube. Don't try to learn it all on, even reading a book or even listening to a podcast. Get a mentor and be willing to pay whatever that mentor is going to cost. It may very well be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, but as soon as you possibly can, get a mentor. It's going to change your life forever. Absolutely.
It absolutely will. And get educated. Whatever your budget is, School of Sharks provides awesome content on a free basis in the community. But also there are paid courses that you guys can look up, and John will be helping us with that as well. So guys, whatever, realize that the wealth to riches is not free. It's a toll road, and you got to pay the toll. There is no free road to the road of riches. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, John. I hope you guys have a great one. You guys have an awesome week, and we look forward to the content that John's going to be delivering for us this week.
Thanks, Dan.